done a good job keeping up, but I'm afraid your journey to the Temple of Mystery ends here!
Yeah, like I haven't dealt with Fluffy before.
Oh, well, I've taught my little friend some new tricks since then. My little cat is well trained and very hungry. Isn't that right, Fluffy?
Nice doggy. Doggies. Oh boy.
Fluffy is a boss that you've no doubt seen variations of before. He charges at us and we have to make him charge into a wall, or in this case, a bone. And while he's distracted, we bite his tail. We do this twice, but then the pattern drastically changes. We're not going to worry about that mini-boss guy for now. It's really not hard to get Fluffy to bite the bone, because he has virtually no AI. After he bites 2 bones, he starts spinning around like a maniac, and he summons 3 mini-bosses. The mini-bosses are by far the hardest thing in this battle, because all 3 of them shoot out shockwaves at the same time. But they also all drop health. So there's that.
You'd better run.
Oh wow, we haven't seen Rubber Pack in, I can't remember when we last saw Rubber Pack. But here he is again. There's nothing new in this level with Rubber Pack. He's just up to his same old tricks. Except sometimes he won't stick to the wall. The only interesting thing about this level, and it is pretty interesting, is trying to move along those floating platforms with Rubber Pack. But if you do it just right, you can bounce from one platform to the other without an issue. And it feels pretty good when you do. If this level were slightly longer, it might be a bit more satisfying.
Whoa!
The Temple of Mystery is another one of my favorite levels because of how rapid fire it is. You switch between various power-ups very quickly, and it ends in a pretty cool boss fight. This first section is just how many ghosts can we make you fight as normal Pack? And the answer is we can just run past them. Time for Chameleon Pack. But yeah, this is what I mean when I say this level is rapid fire. You go through a portal, come out the portal, there's a new power-up to use. We've already explored everything as Chameleon Pack, this is true, but it's also really fun to use him very briefly in the final world as a reminder of how far we've come. Same with Granite Pack. We've already talked about how easy it is to move Granite Pack along curves, but if you want a refresher, it's really easy to move Granite Pack along curves. You can move even faster if you occasionally press the brake. You can almost drift. Almost. Not quite. And it's cool that they fit this in here too. Just so you get to use Granite Pack's dash one more time. It's the little touches. It's the little touches. And oh god, Anyway, this one isn't so bad because we can just skip right to the end, basically. Just scoot past all of this junk we're supposed to do and turn a 5-minute section into one that takes less than a minute. You're welcome. And it's boss time.
Yikes!
Alright, so this boss is really cool. It's not hard, but it's cool. It shoots flaming boulders at us. The best way to hit it with them is to stand right in front of the spring and freeze it just before it hits you. Then jump out of the way, obviously. I don't know why the spring didn't work that time, maybe because I was standing on it, but it doesn't matter. After it shoots boulders, it lets out shockwaves, but we can avoid them entirely just by standing on the rubble of the spring. We could also jump over them normally, but there's no reason not to just stand on the spring. After the second time, it freezes the ground, which makes it a lot harder to, well, move in general. But the spring is still a safe area. I believe the music we're hearing right now is from the television show. I think it is Betrays' theme. It doesn't change its attacks any after you hit it the third time. But yeah, this is a pretty cool boss. And it gives us one last thing to do with Ice Pack.
Cool! Not so cool!
Normally the maze level is the last one in the world, but this time there's an exception because they wanted to actually have a final boss. Still nothing new to say about Granite Pack. Pressing brake on the turns makes it much easier and much faster. You get more pellets from these towers depending on where you hit them at. If you hit them in the purple bullseye, you get way more pellets. It took me a while to actually figure that out. But yes, there is a reason to hit them in the big glowing purple circle. We're supposed to move in between these pipes spewing acid, but we can just jump right on top of the pipes instead. And hey, my favorite power-up makes a return, but only briefly. Which is okay, because we don't want it to overstay its welcome. Just like the extra level, there are 3 separate platforms with switches, and we have to use Spinner Pack to reach them. We've already seen all 3 of these mini-boss characters, so there's not much to say about them. I can say that I don't believe you can bite this guy's tail using Spinner Pack's speed. I don't think it registers. The final world in this game reminds me a lot of the final world in the sequel, except in the sequel they kept finding new ways to explore power-ups we've already seen, in addition to re-exploring some of the design. And this one, we're just using them in ways we've already seen before, but more rapidly so it doesn't get old. And it works, even though we're doing the same thing we've already done, none of it gets old because the power-ups only reappear very briefly. The only exception to this, of course, is Balloon Pack, who should go away. Thanks to the magic of editing, you were just spared another minute and a half of Balloon Pack.
Well, the Pac-Man! So nice of you to drop in. You're just in time to witness the end of Pac-World as you know it. Let me introduce you to my greatest weapon, the...
Yeah, I know all about your little ghost ray thing. Let me save you the super long villain speech. Target the Tree of Life, turn Pac-World into Ghost World, yada yada. You know I'm just gonna stop you like I always do.
What? I will not let you take the fun out of this! Pac-World will be mine this time! It's about time you see firsthand what my little ghost ray thing can do!
I actually really dig this final boss. Betrayus has two kinds of attacks. He can shoot small, slow homing shots, which will follow us no matter where we go. And you can shoot a more direct shot. We need to bounce the direct shot off of these pillars at him. Each of these pillars he shoots with his direct shot begins to release shockwaves. That didn't happen. Each of these pillars he shoots with his direct shot begins to release shockwaves. So we have to pay attention to those in addition to the smaller orbs following us around. We can stand on top of these pillars because Betrayus cannot really aim his gun upwards. His homing attacks, though, they go upwards at us. If you're having trouble evading the shockwaves, just use the smaller pillars, but usually I can jump over them just fine.
Well, Pac-Man, you might have destroyed my ghost ray, but it will take more than a little explosion to slow me down! No!
Oh, you taste worse than your butler. And that's saying something.
Oh, you are going to regret this! Ugh, this is so humiliating.
Last time, there was only a recipe for Pac-Berry Pie. Do these new tablets have any information on them about the Tree of Life?
Other than information on how to build a crazy machine to turn the Tree of Life into a Tree of Death, that is.
Well, what do they say?
They say that the Tree of Life is the one source in the universe for power berries, which are the source of all power for Pac-World.
But we already knew that!
Everybody knows that.
Well, I didn't say it was useful information. Don't worry, though. We found 3 temples already. There are bound to be more. We just have to keep looking.
You know what I'm thinking?
That you want to get out there and find more temples?
Nope, I'm thinking... lunch!
Thank you everyone for coming with me on this short little journey, and Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures is actually a pretty good game. The sequel, much better. I recommend everyone try that, but this game's not bad either. And I would thank Dave Ellis for that, because he designed both this game and the sequel. And he's pretty good at what he does. But, yep, that's it. It's a good game. Television series has almost nothing to do with it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.